Welcome back guys. Now in this video let's discuss about the classification of neurons. Classification of neurons. Okay. So in our body the entire neurons, okay, all the neurons are mainly classified into three types. Okay. So the neurons are classified into three types: A, B and C. Three types of neurons are there. A neurons, A type of neurons, B type of neurons and C type of neurons. Now you will be telling me the neurons are classified into A, B and C types based on what? Based on their size. Okay, based on size. Okay. Now you can very clearly see here the A neurons are bigger in size, B neurons are a bit smaller and C neurons are the smallest. Okay, A, B and C. Any other difference is there apart from size? Any other difference is there? Yes. See, A neurons, they are having this covering. A neurons are having this covering around them. So what is this covering called as? This is called as a myelination. Myelin sheath is there. Okay. So A neurons are highly myelinated. Then what about the B neurons? B neurons are also myelinated but not that much. Okay, they are a little bit myelinated. And what about the C type of neurons? The C type of neurons are completely unmyelinated. They are not at all myelinated. Okay, so there is no myelination at all. So neurons are classified into three types based on their size as well as myelination. Okay, now I am asking you, you tell me which neurons are going to offer more resistance for the conduction of impulse or electricity. See here there is more diameter. The A type of neurons are having more diameter. Okay, more diameter. So in A neurons the electricity, these neurons are nothing but cables, right? They are just like copper cables which are transmitting the electrical signals. Okay, so A neurons, they are having less resistance because they are having more diameter. So the impulses, the action potentials will travel with high speed and they are also having this myelination, insulation is there. Okay, so A neurons will have fast conduction velocity, but C neurons, they will offer more resistance for the flow of these ions. Okay, so A neurons and A neurons, B neurons and C neurons, one more difference is there, that is conduction velocity. Conduction velocity. So these are the three differences between A, B and C. Now my question to you, as we go from A to C, as we are going from A towards C, from A to B to C, who is going to decrease? Size is going to decrease, myelination is going to decrease, as well as conduction velocity is going to decrease. As we move from A to C, all these three parameters, the size, the myelination and the conduction velocity, all three will decrease. So now finally tell me, in our body there are three types of neurons, A type, B type and C type, based on their size, myelination, conduction velocity. Okay. Next, see, the A neurons are further classified as different types: alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, based on their function and their location. A type of neurons are further divided into alpha, beta, gamma, delta. A alpha, A beta, A gamma, A delta. Where do we see such A alpha type of neurons? A alpha means definitely they are big in size and highly myelinated. Okay. So A alpha type of neurons, where do we see? A alpha type of neurons are nothing but motor neurons. They are lower motor neurons. Okay, lower motor neurons causing the contraction of extrafusal fibers. Okay. A alpha are the lower motor neurons. They are nothing but the lower motor neurons which are arising from the spinal cord. Okay, these neurons, the A alpha type of motor neurons, where do we see? Alpha type of motor neurons are the lower motor neurons which are arising from the anterior horns of the spinal cord, which is going and causing the contraction of the extrafusal fibers. Okay, now you will have a doubt. Sir, what exactly are these extrafusal fibers? Now let me give you the clarity. Guys, imagine this is your skeletal muscle. Okay, here is the skeletal muscle. See, in a skeletal muscle, okay, in a skeletal muscle, there are two types of fibers present. There are extrafusal fibers, which are nothing but the myocytes which contain actin and myosin. Okay, extrafusal fibers, and there is also something called as the intrafusal fiber. Okay, there is an apparatus called as a muscle spindle. Okay, here is a muscle spindle. This muscle spindle is made up of intrafusal fibers. Okay, intrafusal fibers. When a muscle is contracting, see when you want to contract a muscle, both the extrafusal fibers have to contract, the actin and myosin, the myocytes, they have to contract. Also, the intrafusal fibers will also contract. Both the type of fibers need to be contracted. Okay. So, for the contraction of extrafusal fibers, there is a neuron that is called as the alpha motor neuron. Alpha motor neuron is going to cause the contraction of the extrafusal fibers. Then you will have an automatic doubt, sir, then which neurons are going to cause the contraction of these intrafusal fibers? Which neurons are going to cause this contraction of intrafusal fibers? For that, there is a different neuron called as a gamma motor neuron. Okay. So, this gamma motor neuron. So, this alpha motor neuron and gamma motor neuron both are types of lower motor neurons. Okay, both are types of lower motor neurons. So, now tell me how many types of lower motor neurons do we know? Lower motor neurons are of two types, alpha motor neuron and gamma motor neuron. Alpha motor neuron causes the contraction of the extrafusal fibers, gamma motor neuron causes the contraction of the intrafusal fibers. Okay, both are coming under, see, both are coming under alpha and gamma, both are coming under which classification? A, they are coming under A type of neurons. They are having bigger, they are bigger in size, they are having high myelination, they are having high conduction velocity. Okay, so yes, right. Alpha is nothing but alpha motor neuron, alpha motor neuron. Okay, and what is this gamma? Gamma is nothing but gamma motor neuron. Okay, causing contraction of what? Intrafusal fibers. Okay, now any other place such alpha fibers are present. See, alpha motor neurons, one thing. In any other place in the body, such alpha fibers are present. Okay, alpha fibers, this A fibers are present. Yes. Okay, these alpha neurons, they are not only motor neurons, but one more neuron in our body also classified under alpha type. One more neuron is also classified under alpha type. That's a sensory neuron. Sensory to what? Okay, sensory to what? Sensory to muscle spindle. Okay, same. Alpha, it is not only motor, but it is also doing some sensory function. Sensory to what? Sensory to muscle spindle as well as Golgi tendon organ. Don't worry, I will explain you. So, students, for better understanding, let me show you the muscle again. Here is the muscle. Okay. Here is a muscle with both extrafusal fibers as well as intrafusal fibers, and here is a cross section of spinal cords, let's say. These are the dorsal horns which are sensory in nature. These are the anterior horns of the spinal cord which are motor in nature. You already know this. Now, guys, tell me, our muscle, they are having the extrafusal fibers which I am showing outside, the extrafusal fibers which are nothing but the myocytes which will contract, okay, the actin myosin contraction, and also the intrafusal fibers. Muscles also contain a specialized receptor called as muscle spindle, which is made up of intrafusal fibers. Let's say here is the intrafusal fiber, which is nothing but muscle spindle. Guys, now listen carefully. What exactly is this muscle spindle? Muscle spindle is a receptor. Okay, muscle spindle, what it is? It's a receptor, guys. Receptor means what? Is it a touch receptor? Is it detecting touch? Is it detecting light? Is it detecting temperature? No, it's a receptor. What it will detect? It detects, okay, muscle length changes. Okay, muscle length changes. Okay, during the contraction, how the muscle length is changing? Is it increasing, decreasing? The muscle length, okay, the muscle length changes. So, now being a receptor, we all know receptors will detect the stimulus and they will report it to the central nervous system with the help of a sensory neuron. So, this is a receptor, right? This is a receptor. So, it is detecting the muscle length changes, increasing, decreasing. So, with the help of a sensory neuron, look carefully, with the help of a sensory neuron, the information is going to the central nervous system. So, look here, this is a sensory neuron. With the help of the sensory neuron, the information is going to the central nervous system. Okay, which information? Muscle length changes. How the muscle length is changing? You may not know it. consciously, but your spinal cord knows how the muscle length is changing, how the biceps length is changing, how the triceps length is changing. Your central nervous system knows, your spinal cord knows it. Okay. So now you tell me, first of all, this is a sensory neuron or motor neuron? Definitely this is a sensory neuron. What is the name of the sensory neuron? See, this sensory neuron is also considered as alpha type. It is also considered as alpha type because of its size, because of its myelination. These are big in size, these are highly myelinated, so they are also alpha type. So now here students will start to have a confusion. Sir, alpha are the motor neurons we have studied, but this sensory neuron is also alpha. So in order to take out this confusion, okay, so according to one classification, they are considered as alpha. Because of the size and myelination, they are considered as alpha. So in order to just take out the confusion, even though it is alpha, it is given in one more name, that is 1A. So now, see, the same alpha according to one classification, according to, see, one classification, Erlanger and Grasser classification, okay, Erlanger-Grasser classification, see, A alpha. What are alpha? Alpha are the motor neurons, already I have told you, alpha are the motor neurons causing the muscle contraction, causing the contraction of the extrafusal fibers. But alpha are also help in proprioception. Proprioception means like, sensation. From the proprioceptor, muscle spindle is a proprioceptor. So alpha are also doing some sensory function. So it is going to create some confusion. Alpha is motor as well as sensory. So this proprioceptive fibers were given a different name by different classification system, that is 1A. So the proprioceptive fibers which are coming from the muscle spindle, even though they are alpha, but they are given a different name according to the numerical classification, that is 1A. So now tell me, what is 1A? 1A is nothing but the alpha fibers from the muscle spindles. They are sensory in nature. Okay, next. Now one more. See, your muscles, okay, are having tendons, right? Okay, these are the areas of the tendons. Let's say these are the tendons. See, in the tendons, okay, there is one more receptor present. Okay, in the tendon area, where they are inserting onto the bones, there is one more receptor called as Golgi tendon organ. Okay, here there is one more receptor called as Golgi tendon organ, GTO, Golgi tendon organ. It is also a receptor. Golgi tendon organ is also a receptor. Okay, it's also a receptor. Now what it will detect? These Golgi tendon organs, they are going to detect the tension on the muscle. How much tension is there on the tension pull on the tendons? Is it more or less? Is it okay or is too much exceeding? So how much tension pull is there on the tendons is detected by this Golgi tendon organ. So being a receptor, definitely it has to give us the sensory information to the central nervous system. So from this Golgi tendon organs, okay, again one more sensory neuron is taking this information to the central nervous system. Okay, to the central nervous system, that how much tension pull is there on the tendons. So now this neuron is also based on its size, based on its conduction velocity, based on the myelination, it is also alpha. Okay, what does alpha mean? Alpha means alpha is nothing but it is coming under A type of neuron with high myelination and high conduction velocity. The same alpha, okay, is given a different name according to different classification system as 1B. So now tell me, according to Erlanger-Grasser classification, it is A alpha. According to this classification system, it is coming under A alpha. But to better maintain clarity, a different system called as a numerical system is saying no, rather than calling it as A alpha, let's call it as a 1B fiber. So you tell me, 1A and 1B, what are they? 1A and 1B, they are the sensory neurons. According to Erlanger-Grasser classification, they are coming under A alpha type. But according to Erlanger-Grasser classification, they are called with a different name, 1A and 1B. 1A is from the muscle spindle, 1B is from the Golgi tendon organs. Okay, you got the clarity? Now, let me give you more clarity now, okay? See, again, draw the muscle first. Here are the tendons. Here is your muscle, let's say, and here is the tendon. Outside, what do we have? These are the extrafusal fibers. Okay, inside we have the muscle spindle. Okay, muscle spindle. And here is the Golgi tendon organ. See, in the tendons there is one more receptor. This is the Golgi tendon organ. This is the muscle spindle. Okay, which is intrafusal fiber. And draw the cross section of the spinal cord. See, now first we need to send the information. First let's talk about the sensory, later we'll talk about the motor. From the muscle spindle, already you know, from the muscle spindle there is a sensory neuron. Look at here, this is the sensory neuron, okay, which is taking the information, okay, this is taking the information to the central nervous system. About what? About the length of the muscle fiber, whether the muscle is contracting or relaxing, what is happening with the muscle length, is it increasing, decreasing, okay. So this is alpha only, this is alpha only, but A alpha, this is A alpha, but according to, this is according to Erlanger-Grasser classification, it is A alpha, but according to the numerical classification, it is 1A fiber, okay. Next, from the Golgi tendon organ, okay, this is also receptor. From here, one more sensory neuron from the muscle, one more sensory neuron is taking the information to the central nervous system. Which type of information? It is taking the information about the tension on the tendons, whether it is a more tension pull or less tension pull. This is also A alpha, okay, according to Erlanger-Grasser classification, but according to the numerical classification system, it is 1B. So these are the sensory inputs. Now let's talk about the motor inputs to the muscle, motor fibers. Motor neurons are going to originate from where? Motor neurons are going to originate from the ventral horns of the anterior horns. So from the anterior horns of the spinal cord, same, there is this green color motor neuron that is arising. This green color motor neuron, look carefully, where is it coming? The green color motor neuron, it is coming to the, okay, let's put it this way. Okay, two types of motor neurons are there. This pink color motor neuron and the green color motor neuron. This pink color motor neuron, okay, look carefully, where is it coming? It is coming to the extrafusal fibers, it is innervating the extrafusal fibers. Now, this is again A alpha, it is again A alpha, okay. So, alpha motor neuron. So, now tell me, alpha motor neurons, okay, alpha motor neurons are going to cause the contraction of what? Extrafusal fibers. Okay, they are going to cause the contraction of extrafusal fibers. And what about this green color fellow? See, this green color neuron, it is coming and it is going to contract what? It is going to cause the contraction of the intrafusal fibers. This is gamma motor neuron, A gamma. So now you understand the innervations. See, this one, alpha. So alpha, this alpha are both sensory neuron as well as motor neuron. So in order to take out this confusion, okay, if I say alpha, students will be confusing alpha, is it a sensory neuron or motor neuron? It's both. So in order to take out this confusion, we say, see, A alpha means, A alpha are mainly motor neurons, okay. But alpha are also sensory. So alpha neuron which is taking the information from the muscle spindle, this is called as a 1A, and alpha neuron which is taking, this alpha neuron which is taking the information from the Golgi tendon organ is given a name called as a 1B, okay. So I hope you won't have any problem in understanding, okay. Actually it's a little tricky, but now it should be clear for you. So according to Erlanger and Grasser classification, A alpha is motor as well as sensory. These sensory fibers are given a different name in the numerical classification system, that is 1A and 1B. 1A is from the muscle spindle, 1B is from the Golgi tendon organ. Muscle spindles are the receptors, Golgi tendon organs are also receptors. One is giving the information about the length of the muscle fibers, other is giving the information about the tension pull on the tendons, okay. Next, also I have explained you gamma. Gamma are the motor neurons. Gamma motor neurons are going to cause the contraction of intrafusal fibers or muscle spindles. Even muscle spindle will contract, okay. Then what about A beta? Okay, I have told you, right, this A beta, where this A beta neurons are present. The A beta neurons are attached with the touch receptors, okay. Whenever someone comes and touches you, it's the touch receptors which are activated. I have already explained you what are the different types of touch receptors. Merkel cells, Pacinian corpuscles, Ruffini endings, okay, Meissner's corpuscles, they are all the touch receptors. The touch receptors in your skin, they are attached with a sensory neuron called as A beta. So A beta is going to carry what? A beta is going to carry touch sensations. So whenever someone comes and touches you, receptor is activated. From the receptor, it is the A beta type of sensory neuron. It is taking the information to the spinal cord, okay. So A beta carries touch as well as pressure, okay. Pressure and touch are carried by A beta. So this is the MCQ which was asked in the exam. Touch is carried by A beta mainly. Also others are there, but mainly A beta. Okay, A beta carries touch and pressure. Then What about the A delta? A delta carries what? A delta carries fast pain. The word is important, fast, because A fibers are highly myelinated, they have high conduction velocity, so they will carry fast pain. Whenever someone comes and pricks you with a pin, when someone comes and pricks you with a pin, you will be having a very fast pain. You can feel it very sharply, sharp, localized pain. So that is fast pain, cold and touch sensation. Okay, so cold also important. So if you feel something cold, that cold sensation is carried to the central nervous system with the help of A delta fibers. A delta fibers. Okay, A delta carry fast pain, cold. Fast pain, cold mainly. A beta carries touch mainly. Okay, done. Now, where do we see then B fibers? B, not A beta, it's B. So again, look at here. What about the A alpha? A alpha are the sensory neurons as well as motor neurons. What about the A beta? A beta are going to carry touch mainly. Okay, touch as well as pressure. A delta are the gamma motor neurons causing the contraction of the muscle spindle. What about the A delta? A delta are carrying the fast pain as well as cold. Okay, fast pain as well as cold. Okay, so successfully what we have completed? Successfully we have completed the A. A is done. Then next question is, so where do we see B type of neurons in our body? Okay, B type of neurons are present as preganglionic sympathetic fibers. So look at here, my dear students. You know, here is the spinal cord. Okay, we all know thoracolumbar outflow or sympathetic outflow. See, let's say from the thoracic part of the spinal cord. Okay, these are the thoracic segments and lumbar segments. Let's say from the thoracic and lumbar segments of the spinal cord, which neurons are going to originate? It's the sympathetic neurons. Guys, you need to understand in your first year, sympathetic nervous system is going to originate from which part? Sympathetic nervous system is not originating from the brainstem. It's not originating from sacral part. So the sympathetic neurons in your body are originating from the spinal cord. Which segments of the spinal cord? Only thoracolumbar. Okay. So from these areas, these sympathetic neurons are coming out. Okay, the sympathetic neurons are coming out. Where do you think the sympathetic neurons will go? The sympathetic neurons will go into their ganglia. Okay, these are all the sympathetic ganglia. You can call them as a sympathetic chain. Okay, just side to the spinal cord, okay, this sympathetic chain is there. So these sympathetic neurons are going into this sympathetic ganglia. So these neurons are called as a preganglionic sympathetic fibers. And from here, who is going to emerge out? The postganglionic sympathetic fibers are going to emerge out. These are the postganglionic sympathetic fibers. And where do you think these postganglionic sympathetic fibers are going? They are going to the organs. Okay, like heart, lungs, okay, different organs. Whenever these sympathetic fibers are going to the heart, they are going to increase the heart rate. Whenever the sympathetic fibers are going to the face, that can lead to the sweating. Whenever the sympathetic fibers are going to the lung, that's going to cause the bronchodilation. Okay, so respective organs they will go. So these fibers are called as a postganglionic sympathetic fibers. These are preganglionic, these are postganglionic sympathetic fibers. These preganglionic sympathetic fibers, they are having little myelination around them. Okay, they are having little myelination. As they are having little myelination around them, they are classified as B type of neurons. I have told you, if a neuron is having little myelination, it is called as a B fiber. And what about these postganglionic sympathetic fibers? The postganglionic sympathetic fibers, they don't have any myelination. They are unmyelinated fibers. So they are considered as C type of neurons. So tell me, where in our body we have the B type of neurons? The B type of neurons are present in. The B type of neurons present in preganglionic sympathetic fibers, and C type of neurons are postganglionic sympathetic fibers. Okay. So let's look at here the classification system. Where do we have this B type of neurons? The B type of neurons are preganglionic sympathetic. And where do we see C type of neurons? See, C type of neurons are postganglionic sympathetic. Okay. Sympathetic means definitely they are coming under the autonomic nervous system or motor. Autonomic nervous system is definitely motor. No doubt in that. Any other place this C type of neurons are present? C type of neurons are also sensory. Dorsal root means sensory. What does it mean by? See, whenever something whenever you feel something hot, okay, if tea falls on your skin, or hot water falls on your skin, okay, when you touch something hot, you can feel it, right? Hot sensation is carried by a C type of sensory fiber. So C type of neurons, they are not only postganglionic sympathetic, but they are also sensory fibers. Some sensory fibers in your body are also coming under C type of classification. Okay, So C fibers carry hot sensation. C fibers carry slow pain. Okay, slow pain. Imagine you are having elbow pain or shoulder pain or some visceral pain, abdominal cramps. So that pain is not a very fast pain. That's a slow pain, slow, dull, diffuse pain, visceral pain. So such slow pain is carried by C type of fiber. Hot sensation is carried by C type of fiber. So right, slow pain and hot sensations, they are carried by C type of fibers, and C type of fibers are most numerous in number. Okay. Now, just to take out the confusion, those sensory neurons which are carrying hot sensation are those sensory neurons which are carrying the slow pain. According to Erlanger-Grasser classification, they are coming under C type. But according to numerical classification, they are type 4. Okay, they are type 4. They are called as a type 4 fibers. So you tell me, what are type 4 fibers doing? The type 4 fibers are sensory neurons without a doubt. They are carrying the hot sensation and slow pain. Okay. But what about the C fibers? C fibers are sensory or motor? C fiber can be motor, can be sensory. Postganglionic sympathetic fibers means motor fibers. Okay, definitely they are motor fibers. They are going to cause some effect. Either they are causing the bronchodilation. Okay, they are causing the increase in the heart rate. Okay, so they can be motor, they can be sensory. So the sensory component is given a different name called as a type 4 fiber. Type 4 fiber. Okay, done. So according to, see, it's the same neuron. Okay, according to one classification they are called as ABC. According to a different classification they are called as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but they are the same fibers. Okay, so with this successfully what we have completed, we have completed the classification of neurons. Okay, classification of neurons or nerve fibers. What are the things that you should know? In the exams they will ask you, what are the neuron that is going to carry the touch sensation? A beta fiber. The neuron which is going to carry hot sensation, C type of fiber. Fast pain is carried by A delta fiber. Highly myelinated fibers, A fibers. Okay, which fiber is going to cause the contraction of the extrafusal fibers? The contraction of extrafusal fibers is A alpha. Contraction of the intrafusal fibers, A delta. Okay, what is those sensory neurons from the muscle spindle? The sensory neurons from the muscle spindle are 1A, and the sensory neurons from the Golgi tendon organs 1B. Which sensory neurons are carrying the hot sensation? Type 4 fibers. Hot sensation and pain are carried by, hot sensation and slow pain are carried by type 4. But according to Erlanger-Grasser classification, they are coming under C type of fibers. Okay, so mainly for your exam, even though you forget about the numerical classification, no issue, not that big deal, but never forget about the Erlanger-Grasser classification. So the neurons in your body, again I am telling you, they are classified based on size, myelination, conduction velocity. In the recent exam they were asking a question, the conduction velocity is dependent on, the speed is dependent on the diameter of the neurons. The more the diameter, more conduction velocity. Less the diameter, less conduction velocity. Okay, something like that. Now apart from this, what else you should be knowing for your exam? Okay, let me tell you. They will ask you, whenever pressure is applied, that's going to kill which neurons? Okay, see, I am showing you the pressure. Let's say I am applying the pressure. Whenever I apply pressure, definitely that's going to be detrimental to the neurons. Definitely that's going to cause damage to the neurons. So if I apply pressure, I am not asking pressure is carried by which type of neuron. No, I am not talking about pressure is carried by. I am talking when you apply pressure, which neuron is going to die first. Okay, when you apply pressure, definitely it's going to kill the neurons. Pressure is going to kill which neurons? So right, pressure is going to kill always A type of neurons, that too A alpha. A alpha will be knocked out first, followed by B type of neurons, followed by C type of neurons. So tell me which neurons are highly sensitive to pressure? Sensitive to the pressure in the sense killing. Okay, pressure kills. I am again telling you, I am not saying pressure is carried by. Pressure is carried by different type of neurons. That's the A beta fiber. But I am talking about pressure is going to kill which type of neurons? It's the A alpha neurons which will be dead first upon applying the pressure. So how can you expect the MCQ in your exams? Very famous question. I think this question has been asked more than 5 times. Okay, in NEET PG exam, FMG exam, repeatedly tested. A person who is sleeping with his arm under his head. Okay, or let's say a couple went to honeymoon. Okay, a couple went to honeymoon. During this honeymoon, the wife, okay, romantically she is coming. Okay, she is sleeping on the arm of the partner. Whenever she is sleeping on the arm of the partner, definitely her head is going to apply the pressure. Okay, maybe it is romantic for her, but definitely for the partner, the 5 kgs head or the 6 kgs head, it is going to apply the pressure. So what happens? Because of this pressure, that's going to cause the damage to which type of neurons? Pressure is going to cause damage to the A alpha fibers. So tomorrow morning what will happen? Because of this damage to the A alpha neurons, morning he cannot be able to contract his muscles, because A alpha are the motor neurons. A alpha are the alpha motor neurons, causing the contraction of the extrafusal fibers, causing the contraction of the muscles. So morning he cannot able to contract his muscles. So there is going to be weakness. There is going to be weakness because A alpha fibers are affected. So always remember, whenever a person who is sleeping with arm under his head, there will be weakness in the arm. Okay, thus sensations are okay, but the motor activity will be affected, because which fibers are affected? A alpha fibers are affected. Okay, A alpha fibers are more sensitive to pressure changes when compared to C. C are less sensitive to pressure. Okay, next, hypoxia. I am talking about hypoxia. Hypoxia is going to cause damage to which type of fiber? Hypoxia is going to cause damage to, okay, B, mainly B. How to remember this? I am asking you, hypoxia, is it good or bad? Definitely bad. So if it is bad, do you welcome hypoxia? Do we welcome hypoxia? No, we say no, hypoxia not good, go back. Okay, so remember B, A, C, back. Okay, so B fiber followed by A followed by C. So hypoxia is going to kill which type of neurons? B type of neurons will be first affected in the hypoxia. We all know which type of cells in our body are highly sensitive to hypoxia? Neurons. Now you know which type of neuron will be first affected. It's a B type of neuron. Where do we see such B type of neurons? B type of neurons are preganglionic sympathetic fibers. The preganglionic sympathetic fibers are B type of neurons. They will be affected first. So pressure damages A alpha. Hypoxia is going to damage B type of neurons. Okay. Later in your pharmacology, you will study anesthetics. Local anesthetics is going to inhibit which type of neurons? Okay, that will be dealt in the pharmacology. In physiology, yes, I have explained all the different types of neurons in the body, their location, their function. Okay, hope the video is helpful. Thank you.